want to let you know I care about your mental health. And you know what? Stick around right here on this station. Don't go nowhere. It's Friday, and you know what time it is. It's time for your show, the MHAASP Show with KP. We're reaching you live on NZ Radio London and AP Radio UK. My name is Kunle Pelemo. They call me KP, and whenever I'm right here with you, you know how we say KP in the building. I'm not alone in the building today. My guest is right here, and he's going to discuss something so important to our world on the show. You know, sometimes it gets so chaotic in our world, and you wonder what could be the cure for the chaos. Whenever and wherever there is a chaos, a lot, including the mental health of people, will suffer. My guest today has a solution he calls the rule of harmony. An international speaker, trainer, and author who utilizes his 20 years of speaking and training to guide individuals, teams, and organizations to confidently overcome fear, boost their confidence, and find their superpowers, as well as have immediate impact for good. My bosom friend, Steve Donofrio. You're welcome to the show. Steve, how are you?
KP's in the house, and I get to be in KP's house. I'm so excited. So fun to be with you always. I just so much enjoy spending time with you, talking and chatting about different things. So thank you for allowing me to be in your house today.
Thank you so much, Steve. It's a great pleasure having you. And we're going straight to something that is very, very important. One thing I used to tell people that is that I can't be, tired of listening to you every time. It's been insightful words after words, time and time again. And I'm glad we have you on the show in spite of your very busy schedule. And you came on board to really discuss a very paramount topic on the show today. The chaos we experience in our world today is to say the least, is crazy. You have protests here, you have killings, you have people complaining about bad governance and all the rest. And you come up with what you call the rule of harmony. How can we utilize this, and what does this stand for? This is what we want to discuss on the show with you today, Steve. Steve, the floor is yours now.
All right. Thank you very much. The rule of harmony is really just a simple acronym, R.U.L.E. It works well in English. I haven't figured out how to make it cool in other languages yet. Maybe one day, but the principles will be the same. Why do we live in chaos? And if we really look back over history, has anything really changed? We think it's such a big deal, and part of that's because we have the technology to get information from around the world. If we really studied history, the chaos has always been there generation after generation. The problem is the same, and the problem comes from a paradigm where one group or one person must be in power over another, or what's often called the scarcity mentality. There's not enough resources, so I have to control what's mine, or I recently heard from a very powerful woman. Interesting fact is that 3 to 5 men, control more of the world's wealth than 98% of the women.
Wow.
And that's almost statistically impossible unless you have built into the system a way to make that happen. So there is systematic broken system, the consumerist mentality, the scarcity mentality, where we protest. What's the point? Well, one group has to rise over power to another. I have to take back. It's us versus them. And then the new group rises to power. They're as equally corrupt. They're trying to keep everyone down. Another group rises up, and over. That happens throughout history. It's time we change. We don't need progress. We need to evolve. We need
Mm.
to change our thinking. And so the rule of harmony is really about that. And it begins with R.
Yeah.
And R's responsibility. It's taking personal responsibility for the change we want to happen.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is it means stopping pointing fingers at other people, stopping to say, we have to stop pointing and saying, well, when the government gets fixed, see, all we need is a better government. But see, that's putting responsibility, but it's also giving away control.
Mm.
If I say, well, the government's the problem, they have to get better, so I'm going to hold up my protest sign or throw rocks or be violent until the government changes, the government might change for a week to appease me, but then it's going to rise into power and then put me back down in my place.
Mm.
But what am I doing as an individual person to bring about the change that I want? So personal responsibility, R of the rule of harmony, is admitting there's a solution to every problem we face and saying, I am part of that solution. It's going to take a group effort. It's going to take all of us, but it begins with each individual person saying, I am the solution, and it's me working with you, not me waiting for you to do something or blaming you because you didn't do it. That group
Wow.
over there has to change. It's political season here in America, and
Mm.
it's so much. It's almost entertainment to watch these people.
Mm.
I watched somebody interview two people on different sides of the political parties, and they asked about personal responsibility. And it was really funny to hear the answers because they went something like this. Yes, it's really important for people to take personal responsibility. And as soon as the other side gets this, we'll be able to get some things done. And I was like, really? That's what you got out of that? As soon as the other side pays attention? No, then you missed personal responsibility. It's me. But the cool thing about taking responsibility is you also take back power. Taking responsibility gives you the power. It might be a small piece, but it's a something. When you look for others to solve your problems or you look for others to be the cause of your problems, you're actually giving away power.
Mm.
If I say it's the police's problem, they have to change. Well, I'm putting all of the power in the hands of those people, and then I have no power. But if I say, you know what, I have some control. So what I can control, I should control, and I'm going to solve the problems I can solve. But if I work with three other people, now we're making a difference.
Wow.
There's an old story, and I'll close R up with this story. And I recently spoke to a model UN group of young leaders, international up and coming global leaders. These are the young men and women who are going to be our next generation. And I opened my talk with telling these young people, I said, hey, listen, I'm about to break your bubble. One person can't make a difference. And I know you always heard one person can make a difference, but I'm
Yeah.
sorry, it's not true. One person can't make a difference, but one person working with other people, a group of people, a collection of people working
Mm.
together can make a difference.
Mm.
And there's an old story that I read, and I've kind of told over the years, and I've created my own ending to the story because I liked it better. But it's just a story I read, and it's about an older gentleman, and he would walk the beaches of his where he lived, and it was an oceanfront beach, and he and his friends would meet on a regular basis, and they would exercise, and they'd walk the shoreline, and they'd just meet people, and they'd enjoy some peaceful mornings. And on one particular morning, there was a young boy throwing things into the ocean, and from afar, this older man watched, and he watched with amazement at this passion of this young man running all over the beach, throwing stuff into the ocean. And he was like, what's this kid doing? What's going on? So he couldn't help himself. He had to go find out. So the young man walks up to this boy and he says, boy, what are you doing? And this young kid with so much enthusiasm looks into a big smile on his face and goes, sir, I'm saving starfish.
Mm.
And he threw a starfish into the ocean. And the man shook his head and with a look of a little disgust and like good luck kid on his face, he looked at the boy and he said, "Boy, you know you can't make a difference. It doesn't matter." And the boy now said, he goes, "What?" And he goes, "Look at son, there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of starfish along this coastline.
Yeah.
And there are thousands of miles of beach line along this coast in this country. You will never save them all, and you can't make a difference."
Hmm.
And the little boy, now disappointed, picked up a starfish and he looked at it. And he threw it as far as he can. And he looked at the man and he said, "Look, I saved that one. I
Hmm.
made a difference for him." And oftentimes the story stops right there. But see, at this point is where I kind of make the story go on, because the young man, excited, and the old man says, "Okay," and begins to walk away. But the boy stops him and says, "Sir, do you want to save a starfish?" And the older man says, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "Do you want to save a starfish?" And he goes, "It's really fun." And he goes, "You pick it up, you tell it not to come back, and you throw it in the ocean."
Okay.
And now the old man kind of thought, okay, I just better appease this kid. He grabs a starfish, he's about to throw it, and the boy says, "Stop, stop. Don't forget, tell it, don't come back." So the old man talks to the starfish, and he throws it in the ocean. And a little smile comes across his face.
Wow.
And the boy looks up and says, "Didn't that feel good?"
Hmm.
And the man said, "Yeah." And he picked up another one. And then along came his friends. And his friends said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Hey, we're saving starfish. Grab one." And they picked up a starfish. And before long, the entire beach was full of people saving
Saving
starfish.
starfish.
See, the boy took individual personal responsibility, and then he began to influence others. And collectively, they each took personal responsibility of doing one thing. But as a group, motivated to do the same thing, they made a difference. Taking personal responsibility is how we bring harmony. But to do that, we have to go to you, which is understand self and others in deeper and more meaningful ways. We must recognize in ourselves our own biases, our own fears, our own anxiety. We talk about chaos and mental wellness. Sometimes fears are based on what's real. Sometimes they're based on what's imagined. As you talk about week after week, how do we get in a healthy place mentally?
Hmm.
How do we find value in ourself? And that's part of understanding self. It's believing in self.
Hmm.
But then the next step in harmony is understanding others,
Hmm.
understanding those around you, understanding how other people think and feel. I've talked to people and have relationships with people from over 30 countries over the last 15 years, which is how the rule of harmony was developed. But what I've learned is when you sit down with somebody, we truly are more alike than we are different.
Hmm.
The things that make you smile and laugh will most likely make me smile and laugh.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
The things that make you hurt and have pain will most likely give me pain as well. And when I begin to see you as a human being, not as a man from Nigeria, not as someone from the other political party, not as a government official, not as a poor person, but a human being, and I begin to engage you with intention of you are a human being, now I begin to understand you. But in order to do this, I must understand myself. What limiting beliefs do I have? Do I have biases? Do I believe something based on rumors that I heard from somebody else? Have I bought into the propaganda that maybe my government's been telling me for years and years that these countries, people are all terrible, they're all poor, they're all this, they're all that, and I'm starting to believe it, so I repeat it over and over. Now I believe it. What if I'm wrong?
Wow.
I have to understand myself, and then I have to take the time to understand others in deeper,
Others.
in more meaningful ways. So R is about individual responsibility.
Responsibility.
And then now I understand myself, but more importantly, understand others. I must listen to other people. I must take the time to engage with them, to hear their story, and learn something from them.
Wow.
And when I can do that, I humanize them.
Wow.
And now we're talking one human to one human. Your religion, your international background, your race, your politics fade away
Hmm.
because what comes out is your humanity.
Absolutely right. You're
It's like when you
absolutely.
focus, it's like those cool pictures when you focus something really narrow and you have one clear focus point, but all around is all the fuzzy stuff.
Hmm.
That's what happens if you focus on humanity. Religions, politics, race, ethnic backgrounds begin to get fuzzy. They begin to lose focus because our focus is on the human that we are looking at and talking to. So that's R and U.
That's R.U.L.E. Wow. Taking personal responsibility and understanding self and others in the rule of harmony. We're left with the letter L and E. And so we will take that when we come back from this short musical break. We still have Steve Donofrio talking the rule of harmony on the MHAASP show with KP. This is a song by a brother and friend, R.U.L.E, and this one is titled, what is the title?
Home of great music, MZ Radio London.
You're worthy to be praised. Lord, you're worthy to be praised. You are worthy, you're so worthy, Lord. You're worthy to be praised. Lord, you're worthy to be praised. Oh Lord, you're worthy to be praised. You are worthy, you're so worthy, Lord. You're worthy to be praised. Everybody say now, you're worthy to be praised. Come on, say, Lord, you're worthy. You're worthy to be praised. You are worthy. You're so worthy. Lord, you're worthy to be praised. Come on, everybody, say with me now, Lord. Worthy to be praised. How many people know our God is worthy? Yeah. You're worthy to be praised. Oh, you are. You're so worthy, yes. Yes, sir.
Home of great music, MZ Radio London.
You're welcome back. This is still MZ Radio London and AP Radio UK, and this is the MASP show with KP, and we have Steve Donofrio talking the rule of harmony on the show with me. Before we went on that short break, we spoke about the R and U of the rule. Now let's quickly complete the L and E of the rule before we totally round off the show. Steve, over to you.
All right, thank you, KP. It's great. So we talked about responsibility, understanding self and others. So now we get into L, and L is about leadership. L is to lead. And it has nothing to do with your title or your position, because anyone can lead by action and example. Dr. Martin Luther King of the United States once said, anyone can be a leader because anyone can serve. Leadership is about serving, it's about influence. So, two things you can do to lead yourself and to influence others. One of those things is practicing proactive positivity. Whew,
Mm,
that's hard to even
mm,
say.
mm.
Practice proactive
Proactive
positivity.
positivity. Wow.
Yes, and so how we're going to do that is this. Here's what you can do. Every morning when you wake up, either, and I would encourage you to write it, But if you want to just look in the mirror, you can say it. Write down just 3 or 4 things that have this statement. A is going to be a good day because. Write down what that's going to be. Because I'm going to be productive. Because I am alive. It doesn't matter what it is. You want to say, today is going to be a good day because, and you're going to set your mind to doing something positive. You're going to set your mind to doing something positive. Now, at the end of the day, you're going to practice the same thing. You're going to say, today was a good day because, and you're going to review your day, and you're going to look for the positive things that happened in your day. Now, does that mean nothing bad will happen? No. It just means we want our minds to be focused on looking for what is good. Because harmony is about looking for what is good in other people. And we have to be in the practice of looking for what's good. So maybe that person at work or your coworker or a family member, a neighbor, whoever, that person who grinds on you, could you say to them, here are the 5 good things about that person. I will be intentionally looking for their good traits. Yes, they may have benefits, but remember, I'm taking responsibility. So I'm choosing to look for the good. That's something I can do. So lead by action and example.
Wow.
And that leads us to our second thing we're going to do is E, and that's engagement.
Okay.
We must engage with those who are different than us. We must find a way to engage with people who look, think, and believe different. We must get engaged and stay engaged. Otherwise, we can't create harmony. And just as an interesting thing, harmony comes from that Greek word harmonia, and a lot of people think of music. But if you think of harmony, what it basically means is to put things in order or to organize things. Order. It's to put things together, bringing things together. It doesn't mean becoming the same. A composer of music who wants harmony would not say to the low note, hey, low note, I like you, but you need to be a higher note. Oh, high note, you know what? You're not good where you are. I'd like you to change and become a low note. No, a composer says, to get true harmony, I take the high note and I take the low note and I bring them together in such a way that they blend beautifully. Harmony is not changing who you are. It's understanding others and finding out how they fit into your world and how you fit into their worlds and how you blend together beautifully. So to do that, we must engage. I must have a variety of notes engaged together to create the beautiful music we just heard. I can't have the same note. Nothing is beautiful that way. So I want to engage with people who look, think, and believe different. And here's my challenge to everyone listening. Either if because of the current COVID crisis, because of coronavirus, maybe you can't go out personally, so then get on LinkedIn, get on a social media platform, or just go to a restaurant with somebody if you can, or have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Intentionally find a person who looks, thinks, and believes differently than you, and ask them, may I share a cup of coffee with you? I'd like you to teach me something from you. I'd like to hear your story. And now we're going back to you. As you sit with that person, as you engage with them, engage with the purpose of understanding them in deeper and more meaningful ways. You must engage with people to understand them. The rule of harmony is about taking responsibility and admitting there's a solution to all of our problems. And I am part of that solution, and I have responsibility. You understand myself and others in deeper and more meaningful ways.
Yeah.
I must lead by action and example. I can't wait around for someone else to do it. I must lead
By action.
I must get engaged. Practice proactive positivity. Today, when you are done with this, I challenge all of you, quickly write down why was today a good day, or why today will be a good day, depending on your time zone. Or, and also begin to make a list. Who do I know that looks, thinks, and believes different than me that I can have a cup of coffee with? That is the rule of harmony. That's the essence. And I believe that is where we create a new paradigm. That's how we're going to solve the world's biggest problems. That's protesting, being violent will never solve a problem. Coming together and seeing the humanity in each of us and now working in harmony collectively will solve the world's biggest problems. Thanks for having me on, KP. It's been an honor to share with you some time today.
Wow, it's been a great honor to have you, and what a wonderful time we've had sharing the rule of harmony. Steve Donofrio has been on the show, ladies and gentlemen, and it's been a wonderful time with him. Our time flies. It's almost time for us to leave the studio right now. But I'm sure, Steve, if we call one more time, or as many times as we call, you'll definitely oblige us. Can I get a yes, Steve?
Yes, you can. I would love to connect anytime. I am here for you.
Thank you so much, Steve. And I want to let you know, for those of us who are listening out there, that starting from next week, we'll be joined by R.U.L.E for a series where we'll be talking about recovery from addiction. So you've got every reason to stick around right here. Thanks to everybody who is listening. Without you, there's no us. We appreciate your time. And to my producers, Mr. Soji Harmony on MZ Radio London and O'Fields on AP Radio UK, I appreciate